Fingerprint magnet time. I love this hilt to bits, I really do. I'm filming this on a very warm day, and the last thing I want to be doing is putting on gloves to handle it. We are looking at the PROELIUM, the KR Sabers PROELIUM, which is a beautifully stunning polished hilt. Comes polished. You'll be able to pay for a brushed service if you want, but as it comes completely polished, so it attracts dirt and fingerprints, oil, just everything. So it's so warm in here already, but it is 100% worth it for showing this off, right? The heat. These aren't going on easy as well. Oh no. Oh no. There we go. Right, one on. It's a little bit tight for me as well. Ugh. Okay. Oh, that's going to be wet afterwards. You know it's just going to be sweat inside. Okay, here we go. Right, we've got a lovely box designed by Christian Cruz. This hilt was a design of a previous hilt by a different company, of which KR Sabers bought the design right, and I re-engineered everything about it, how it assembled, because it wasn't designed for it was designed for one-off production and then drilling and tapping everything in situ, which is no good to us. So I re-engineered it and it turned out lovely. It's a beautifully solid hilt. So what you get in the box: foam. So what you get in the box, you get this PCB switch, NeoPixel PCB, in an anti-static bag, which is nice. I've got the window open, so you might hear some noise from the outside. You got two dome switches. You should have two dome switches and a clear piece that will go in your control box. That'll be in another baggie. Then you'll have a bag of Allen keys to help you disassemble your hilt if you ever need to, or if you want to do the brushing yourself. Finally, we have the hilt itself, nicely wrapped in black tissue paper. Wow, that is shiny, really shiny. And it's got that. The great thing about these boxes, they come with that new box smell. I don't know if anybody else notices that, but I really like that. Okay, so we've got our D-ring down at the bottom here to clip onto your belt. We have a fully removable grip section. We have a chassis retention thumb screw here. Now, if you wanted to make that a normal screw, you are more than capable of doing so. You can just change it out for a normal screw. We've got our control box here, which has two positions here for your switches that will mount onto your PCB. I'll walk you through how to mount those onto your PCB and solder them correctly. You've got a space here for the clear insert to help shine through the pixels on the PCB. You have your blade retention thumb screw here, which is nice, which releases the blade plug. Do it tight, pinches on, it won't come out. And then got some nice like bunny ears here, retained by a screw. Now, one thing I'll say is we've QC'd all of these, and the factory never does any of the threads up super tight. You might find that the bunny ears is loose a little bit. Nip it up. There isn't many threads because it's all like thin sheets of metal. Okay, there isn't many threads, so just make sure you nip it up without rounding it off, and that will be on there nice and secure, like so. You've got a grill window here, loads of holes there, so when you wired it all up and you activate your saber, it will start glowing through your blade plug and showing through this area here. On the chassis as well, you also have space to add a NeoPixel strip, so you get shine through in this space around here, which is super nice. And the grip section is super easy to clock. underneath these 2 screws here. You lift those up and there's 2 grub screws there, which will, if you undo them, you'll be able to turn the sleeve of the grip around the main grip, which is the black bit, the nicely nailed black bit, and then you can turn it into whichever position you want, tighten those grub screws down, and then put your sling belt loop back on with these 2 screws here, and you're good to go. I'll demonstrate that in a moment. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this one away, and I'll come back in a bit when I've got it brushed, and then I don't have to wear these sweaty, horrible gloves. And I'll walk you through in more detail the process of clocking the grip and installing your hilt. Not that it's complicated by any means, but I'd rather show you, and then you can watch the video and not have any questions, hopefully. Alright, cool. I'm going to cut the video here. Oh yeah. And I'll come back later with a brushed version to walk through. One moment. Okay, so I have now brushed the PROELIUM. Oh, so I'm not as worried about getting fingerprints all over it, getting dirty oil stains or anything like that. So I'm not worried about wearing gloves now, which is great because it's getting super hot in here. Right, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to walk you through how to clock your grip sleeve, and then I'll walk you through the process, the very easy, simple process of putting your chassis in and wiring it through. It's not complicated at all. Any installer worth his weight, not even in gold, in what's a lesser metal, zinc, can figure this out, but I'll show you anyway. In order to clock your grip and your sling point, your belt D-ring point, you have to remove these 2 screws down here on the pommel and move your D-ring retainer out of the way as well as your D-ring, like that. There we go. And then you will reveal 2 grub screws. All you're going to do is undo them a little bit, not much, and then you'll find with the grip section done up, so you can see the nailed section isn't moving, it's just the sleeve on the outside. You will now be able to position this however you desire. Now I like my D-ring on the opposite side to my control panel, so that is just about aligned. That'll do. And then hold it down and re-clamp those grub screws. First one a little bit, second one tight, first one again, tighten up again, and just double check, back one again, and there we go. And then that's nice and clocked, so you can have that any position you desire, and you can still unthread the whole unit like so. Wonderful, easy. And then to put your belt loop back on, just simply place it in, get the screws aligned, and tighten those screws up, and we are all good to go. Easy peasy. Okay, so this is a what I'd call a semi-fixed chassis, in that you have a chassis retention screw right here, thumb screw, which if you ever want to gain access to your board, because it's actually hidden up in the upper section of your chassis, as long as you leave enough slack in the wires, you can just pull it down a little bit, because you're not really going to need to access your board all the time, and then you can gain access to your board and SD card, no problem at all. Alright, so let's remove that grip. Remove the control box section up here with your large Allen key and the 2 screws. Oh, fiddly fiddly. There we go. Pull that away. stick it to the side. Now you are able to, let's drop those screws out. You are able to put your clear part in position. A little dab of glue on the lip of it. Obviously you don't want to cause any misting on the main surface, but that will help retain it as well. It's a good fit, but it'll still drop out if you shake it. So I recommend just the smallest dab of glue you can do, just to retain that in there, and you'll be a-okay. Right, so you have this is the Eco Max, of which I've got the OLED, the Bluetooth, the spinning crystal that is lit up by a NeoPixel. We have a NeoPixel strip going around here, around the board. Kill switch, removable 18650 battery, 28mm speaker, stock short pin. Is that the V4? Yeah, the V4 MPXL emitter PCB, and we've got the positive, negative, and data line for the 5 pixels on your PCB, your switch PCB, and I've also got 3 wires for my button 1, button 2, and the ground as well. So you've got 3 pads on the back of this for your switches and 3 pads for your pixels. Easy peasy. Right, what I'm going to do is remove the blade plug as well, because that could be sitting a little bit low. Take that out, stick it to the side. I didn't mean to draw that all the way out, you don't really need to. And then draw out your chassis retention screw until it is sub flush internally, so you can rub your finger up and down there and not feel it. And leaving these wires extra long, you can feed them in through the hole. There we go, and pull them through like so, as you gently insert your chassis. Now you might want to add a bit of diffusion around the pixel strip here. That is entirely up to you, just to make sure it isn't too bright when it's shining through the grill here. But as I say, up to you. You can always add it later if you leave enough slack in your wires, and then get it lined up, thread that down, and that is your chassis inserted like so. And if you want to gain access to your board, undo your screw so it's not retaining the chassis anymore, slide it down, leaving enough slack in your wires, and you've got access to your USB port and USB card there. And then put it back in and tighten that back up again. Awesome. Easy peasy. Right, now one part I want you to pay attention to. So I've already done one switch, and I'll show you how to do the next one. These dome switches have very long legs on them. Now you've got to feed those through your PCB like so. And what I want you to do, because you don't want those poking through and touching the metal on the inside of the hilt, hopefully you can see that, yeah, is just trim those legs down with a nice pair of snips like so. And then what I'm also going to do, take that back out, trim them down just a little bit more to make sure they don't protrude through at all. And then double check it. And make sure they don't stick through the backside at all for both positions. And then you're going to solder your switches to the PCB, and then you're going to back it with some electrical tape to make sure it doesn't touch the metallic hilt once it's inserted and all wired up. That's the last thing you want. But another thing I would like you to do, I've just remembered, is on these switches, the lighting is not good at the moment. I've got the blinds down to try and help keep out the heat. There was four bits of protruding plastic on each corner. You can see that one just there. I recommend just trimming those off as well. They're not featured in the dimensions of the CAD model, which is frustrating. So just trim those off, or file them off, whichever one you want to do. Just those 4 corners of bits of plastic, get those out of the way. And that will also help how your PCB and switches fit inside the hilt. Alright, so what I'm going to do, get some focus back, is solder those up, get my pads ready, get my wires tinned, and solder it all together in the next step, and we'll start looking to assemble it. Now if you want to check at this position as well before you solder anything, there's that little transparent piece, that everything fits in there nicely, which it does. That is super nice. Right, time to do some soldering, and we'll be right back. Okay, right, we're back. Excuse me, I have wired up my switch PCB. Please note that switch 1 is your upper switch out of the 2, and switch 2 is your lower switch out of the 2. Okay, so then I've also backed the upper part with electrical tape to make sure it doesn't arc out on the hilt. So then I'm having some nice loose wires, poke those into position. And you can go cram fill on this, there's loads of space in there. Just like so. Should have all in there with that little yellow one trying to poke out. Was my head entering the seam there? I hope it wasn't. Right, it probably was. And then push that in position, like so. I've already glued my little clear cover in position. Put that over the top, very nice. And then put your screws in. 1 and 2. Obviously you can test this before you actually put the control box on, make sure everything's working. Put my blade plug back in, like so. Do that up, plug in the battery.
Outstanding.
Hit go. There we go. Got our LED working, Bluetooth flashing away, got our crystal chamber, and so there we go. And then we'll get the heat cool down effect going across the pixels there. Very nice. And then once we put on the pommel, make sure it's done nice and tight. This is loud. This is very loud. You see we've got a nice glow through on the blade plug as well. But very loud.
Master Doku.
It's nice. Feels great in hand, slim. Oh, that is so loud. And there we have it. We have an installed PROELIUM. Really nice. And then if you still want to gain access to the chassis, all you do is unscrew your grip. You've got access there. And if you want to gain access to your Profi board, you can just undo your screw there and slide it down and got access to your Profi board still. How cool is that? Nice and easy. Hide your Profi board, or whichever board it is, and pinch it back up and you are good to go. That is nice and loud. I like that a lot. I like how slim the hilt feels, how it looks brushed. I think it looks very classy. The great thing is about the polished version, it's clean and it's ready to go. So what you can do is you can do some nice etching on all of it as well. So the possibilities are really open for anybody purchasing the KR Sabers PROELIUM. Right, that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you in the next video. Have a great day. Bye.